Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're looking at something that started small but really ballooned. Bitcoin Pizza Day 2025. Your materials, the ones you shared, they all seem to point to this anniversary. 15 years now, right?
That's right, 15 years.
Since the very first real-world purchase using Bitcoin happened.
Yeah.
And our mission, let's say, for this deep dive is to figure out why this pizza order, which seems so simple, is actually such a huge deal in crypto history. And what it tells us about how Bitcoin has, well, evolved.
It's pretty extraordinary when you think about it. And what's really fascinating, I think, is that this wasn't some big institutional move.
Yeah.
It was just one person, a programmer, just wanting pizza.
Yeah, relatable.
Totally. And the fact we're still talking about it, what, a decade and a half later, with the values involved now just astronomical, it really highlights how groundbreaking it was, almost happening under the radar back then.
Okay, so let's break it down. The date, May 22nd, 2010. The buyer, Laszlo Hanyecz, programmer in Florida. And the items, 2 Papa John's pizzas, classic.
Can't go wrong there.
But the cost,
Right.
that's where it gets kind of wild. 10,000 Bitcoin.
10,000, exactly. And he posted about it, right, on the Bitcoin Talk forum.
Ah, yeah, the main hangout for early Bitcoin folks.
Right. He basically said, hey, I'll trade 10,000 BTC for pizza.
Mm.
And back then, Bitcoin was worth, what was it, like 0.0041 bells per coin.
Something like that, pennies. So 41-ish for the pizzas.
Yeah. And the key thing here, I think, is that it wasn't like he was making some shrewd investment.
Yeah.
He even called it an incredibly cool experiment because Bitcoin just didn't really have any major value yet.
And it wasn't just talk, it was a real transaction, recorded forever.
On the block.
Block number 57,043. That whole immutability thing, the unchangeable record, that's core blockchain tech.
Exactly. And this pizza purchase, one of the earliest, documented examples of being used for something tangible.
And you mentioned it wasn't exactly 10,000 BTC either. There was a fee.
Yeah, that's a good point our sources picked up on. An extra 1 BTC fee for the miners.
The people processing the transactions.
Right. So 10,001 BTC actually left his digital wallet. And, looking back, the timing is interesting, too.
How so?
Well, it took 4 days from when he first posted on the forum until he actually got the pizzas.
4 days?
Yeah. And then even once someone agreed, it was like 6 hours between the deal being struck and the delivery.
Wow. Really shows how early stage it all was. Kind of clunky, almost.
Very much so. Rudimentary is a good word.
Okay, but then things started changing value-wise. Fast forward just, 9 months? And suddenly, 10,000 Bitcoin isn't $41 anymore. Bitcoin hit parity with the US dollar.
Right. So hypothetically, those pizzas became a $10,000 meal.
Crazy. Do you think anyone involved had any clue what was coming? Hanyecz? Or the guy who delivered the pizza, Jeremy Sturdivant?
Oh, probably not. I mean, how could they? It's easy to look back now, but then no way. And the growth just kept going exponentially. By the 5th anniversary, 2015, that same 10,000 BTC was worth around $2.4 million.
Okay, that's already mind-blowing.
And then last year, May 22nd, 2024, over $69 million.
$69 million for 2 pizzas. But wait, it gets even crazier, right? The Bitcoin Pizza Index, which some of your sources mention, as of right now, May 15th, 2025.
Yeah.
That 10,000 BTC is estimated at roughly $1.029 billion.
Billion with a B.
Yeah.
Or 919 million euros. It's almost impossible to really wrap your head around.
$1 billion pizza order.
It really is. And the sources give some comparisons to make it maybe a bit more concrete.
Like what?
Well, that amount of Bitcoin today is like having roughly 326,874 ounces of gold.
Wow.
Which is, over 10,000 kilograms. Or get this, 32.3 million ounces of silver.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 tons.
Okay, that helps picture the scale.
Yeah.
It's immense.
It really drives home the impact, doesn't it? How much Bitcoin has grown as an asset class. It's not just a funny story anymore.
Definitely not. And there are other little interesting bits the sources dug up too, right?
Yeah, a few things.
Like the fact that Hanyecz, after spending that, huge amount of Bitcoin.
Relatively speaking, at the time. Well, yes, huge now.
Right. He kept using the same Bitcoin address.
Yeah, for 300 more transactions.
Which is kind of counter to how people use Bitcoin now, isn't it? Everyone advises using new addresses for privacy.
Totally. It just shows, again, how early days it was. Best practices for, security and anonymity still being figured out.
And the recipient, Sturdivant, his address saw some action too.
Apparently so. Used 4 more times between 2015 and 2020. Makes you wonder what those were for.
Huh. And Hanyet's made pizza history again later, didn't he? Something about the Lightning Network.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. In 2018, he bought 2 more pizzas, but this time using the Lightning Network.
Which is meant for faster, cheaper Bitcoin transactions, right?
Exactly. And he paid like 0.000649 BTC.
A tiny fraction compared to the first time.
A world of difference. It really shows the attempts to innovate within Bitcoin, to make it more practical for small, everyday stuff, which, let's face it, 10,000 BTC for pizza wasn't.
Not exactly practical, no.
That 2018 purchase is a neat little bookend showing that evolution.
And there is that funny coincidence, too, about Neapolitan pizza and World Pizza Day.
Yeah, some sources mention that. In 2010, the same year as the Bitcoin pizza thing, Neapolitan pizza got some kind of EU recognition. And it was also the start of World Pizza Day.
It's like the pizza universe aligned with the crypto universe for a moment.
Adds a bit of fun to it, doesn't it? But yeah, it grounds the whole thing. It started with just wanting pizza. Very human.
So pulling it all together, the main takeaways here. Bitcoin Pizza Day isn't just a funny story about, the world's most expensive pizza after the fact.
Right.
It's really become this potent symbol, a symbol of crypto actually being used in the real world for something tangible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It showed very early on that this digital thing could actually buy you, well, stuff. Pizza, in this case. It sparked imagination.
Which is why the crypto community celebrates it every year.
Exactly. It's a chance to look back at that journey from this niche experiment for tech enthusiasts to this global thing that's genuinely changing finance.
And it's just a powerful reminder, I think, that huge changes can start with something really ordinary. This one pizza order kind of ties together history, tech innovation, blockchain, and pizza, which everyone loves.
It really does stick with you. It encapsulates that whole Bitcoin story in one image, almost.
From practically worthless digital code to a billion-dollar asset, all linked back to getting some dinner.
Makes you think about value itself and how it shifts.
Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive. The core message seems clear. Bitcoin's first real-world use was incredibly mundane pizza.
Yep, humble beginnings.
But the value explosion since then is just staggering. That one purchase really marks a key moment for understanding blockchain's potential and impact.
Yeah.
And maybe leaves us with a thought.
Which is?
Well, considering this crazy growth, what other small tech experiments happening right now, maybe stuff we're barely noticing, what might hold that same kind of unforeseen revolutionary potential down the road?
That's a great question to leave things on. Where's the next Bitcoin Pizza Day moment happening right now? Maybe in a totally different field. Makes you wonder.